Yes, welcome back. There's a lot of power on the camcorder, and I'm laying in my bed, and it's like 30 degrees hot in my apartment, so I don't like to get up. But actually, I'm freezing a little bit. But this is the Beechcraft Byron. That's like luxury. Beechcraft is like Mercedes Benz of the aviation, like Audi and BMW, some luxury aircrafts. It's a six-seat kind of long range. But let's read about it. And I think I'll read about the Piper next. Piper Cherokee. But let's read this Beechcraft, but that costs probably a lot of money. This one is very expensive, even the old.
Beechcraft Baron. Baron Beechcraft Baron 58.jpg. Beechcraft Baron 58 Pro Civil Utility Aircraft National Origin United States Manufacturer Beechcraft First Flight February 29, 1961. Status in production Primary user United States Army. Historical. Produced 1961 Present number build 6,884 plus 2. Developed from Beechcraft Travel Air. The Beechcraft Baron is a light twin-engined piston aircraft designed and produced by Beechcraft. The aircraft was introduced in 1961. A low-wing monoplane developed from the Travel Air, it remains in production. Design and development. Cockpit of a 1964 Baron 55 with a mixture of original equipment and modern avionics. The direct predecessor of the Baron was the Beechcraft 95 Travel Air, which incorporated the fuselage of the Bonanza and the tail control surfaces of the T-34 Mentor military trainer. To create the new airplane, the Travel Air's tail was replaced with that of the Beechcraft Debonair. The engine nacelles were streamlined. 6-cylinder engines were added, and the aircraft's name was changed. In 1960, the Piper Aztec was introduced, using two 250 HP Lycoming 0540 engines. Cessna 2 had improved its 310 with two Continental IO 470D, producing 260 HP. Meanwhile, Beechcraft's Bonanza had been improved with a Continental IO 470N. But the answer to competition was to make a true twin-engined variant of the Bonanza. The first model, the 55, was powered by two 6-cylinder IO 470L engines producing 260 HP at 2,625 rpm each. It was introduced in 1961. The first Baron included the fully swept vertical stabilizer of the Debonair while still retaining the 4-4 plus 5 airplace seating of the Travel Air. Variants. Barons come in three basic types: the Baron 55, short body, Baron 56, short body, and Baron 58, long body, with several subvariants each. Baron 55. The early Baron 55, A 55 and B55 were fitted with 260 HP, 190 kilowatts, Continental IO 470 engines and had gross weights of 4,880 to 5,100 pound, 2,200 to 2,300 kilograms. These had a typical cruise speed of 190 knots. 350 kilometers per hour, at 7,000 feet, 2,100 m, and came with 116 or 136 US gallon, 440 or 515 L. Two Baron 55s flying in formation with a 1980 build B-55 nearest. E-55 in background. A 1962 Baron C-55 in the factory pine scheme, a Beechcraft model E-55 Baron fuel tanks. 3, 4, although its performance was eclipsed by the later variants. The B55 continued to be offered as the basic economy model until the end of the Baron 55 model run, and it will ultimately capture about half of total 55 series sales. 5. The C55, D55 and E55 models used 285 HP, 213 kilowatts, Continental IO 520 engines, increasing cruise speed to 200 kn, 230 miles per hour, 370 km forward/h. Gross weight increased to 5,300 pound, 2,400 kilograms, and forward fuselage was lengthened by 12 in, 30 centimeters, to increase baggage space in the nose. 5. 136, 142, or 166 US gallon, 515 or 628L. Fuel tanks were offered. The Baron 55 was sold with 4 seats in 2 rows as standard equipment, a third row 5th seat was optional initially, and a 6th seat became optional on the A55. However, the lack of a rear passenger door or a second row pass-through hampers access to third row seats, and adults often find the rear fuselage taper confining. Additionally, the aircraft tend to exceed the aft center of gravity (CG) limit with all 6 seats occupied and no baggage in the nose compartment to act as counterbalance. Owners often remove third row seats and use the rear fuselage as additional baggage space. 5. 6. Model 55 Barons were produced from 1961 to 1983, with 3,651 manufactured. 2. All use the ICAO aircraft type designator BE55. 7. Model 95 to 55 Baron prototype. 55 introduced 1961. 4 to 5 seat, twin enginette transport, powered by 2 260 HP Continental IO 470 6-cylinder piston engines. 190 units built. Priced at $58,250. 8. A 55 build 1962 through 1963. 4 to 5 seats. Improvements were a new instrument panel, interior and exterior paint scheme. Priced at $58,950. 9. B55 introduced in 1964, run through 1982. 4 to 6 seats. New exterior scheme and interior design. A 120-pound, 54 kilograms, increase in gross weight to 5,100 pound, 2,313 kilograms. Priced at $59,950, 1964, $177,500, 1982. 10. C55 build 1966 through 1967. 4 to 6 seats. Powered by 2 285 HP Continental IO 520 piston engines. Increased performance over the B55. Nose lengthened to accommodate more baggage or equipment, and to improve weight and balance. Crack-prone engine air intake box design changed. Alternators changed from belt-driven to gear-driven. 451 aircraft built. Priced at $68,350 in 1966. 11. D55 build 1968 through 1969. 4 to 6 seats. Introduced new paint scheme and speed slope windshield. Changed to 3 blade props and a different flap configuration. 316 aircraft built. Priced at $73,950 in 1968. 12. E55. Introduced in 1970, run through 1982. 4 to 6 seats. Incorporated new paint scheme and interior design. Improved avionics and panel. Wingtip lights and rotating beacon made flush, new entrance step. Also added were 172 US gallon, 166 usable, interconnected tanks with one fill cap per wing became an option in 1976. 433 built. Price $83,950 in 1970, $219,500 in 1982. Baron 56 TC. An early Baron 56 TC seen in flight. In 1967, Beechcraft had begun development of a faster, pressure twin, the Model 60 Duke. The Duke was to go head-to-head with Cessna's 320 Skyknight. The Duke was to use two turbocharged 380 HP Lycoming TI-0541E1A4 engines. Therefore, Beech wanted experience working with and flying the new engine. The engine was fitted to a modified Baron C55, becoming the 56 TC. That prototype, EG1, was later retired after certification. The results of the 56 TC were as planned. It proved a good test and experience building model for the Duke's development. However, it was a noticeably loud airplane, especially so for a Beechcraft. Along with its increased noise, the 56 TC had an increase in structural strength and thus empty weight to compensate for the higher power. When introduced in 1967, it was the fastest Beech aircraft, rivaling even the early King Airsault at the time. 93 Baron 56 TC aircraft were built between 1967 and 1971, and all used the ICAO type designator B56.7. 56 TC introduced in 1967, built until the 1969 model year. 4 to 6 seats. Power came from two 380 HP, 283 kilowatt, Lycoming TI-0540E1B4 turbocharged piston engines. Priced at $89,950 in 1967. 13. 82 aircraft sold. 2. A 56 TC introduced 1970, built until 1971. Only model change throughout the 56 production. Featured new exterior paint scheme and interior design, new instrument panel, smooth rotating beacon and navigation lights, nose wheel light. Priced at $101,750 in 1970. 14. 11 manufactured. 2. Baron 58. The turbocharged 58 TC variant. Introduced for the model year 1969. 15. The larger, more powerful Baron 58 was developed from the Baron 55, with an increase a gross weight of 5,400 lbs. Depending on the variant, the Baron 58 is fitted with either Continental IO 520 or IO 550 300 HP engine. The Baron 58 can cruise at 200 knots, 370 km per hour, at 7,000 feet, 2,100 m. The most significant change was a fuselage stretch of 10 inches, 25 centimeters, and the introduction of double rear fuselage doors and reversible club seats in the center row, eliminating the need for passengers to climb over the center seats or through the rear baggage door to access the rear seats. The entire fuselage was repositioned forward on the wing to address the aft CG issue that plagued the short-body models. The longer 58 fuselage has 4 side windows while the 55 and 56 fuselages have 3.16. The larger fuselage and improved rear cabin access have made the 58 far more popular with commercial air charter and cargo operators than the smaller 55 and 56.6. 1980 Baron 58 par of Macau type designator of all versions is B58.7. In 1976, the turbocharged Baron 58 TC and pressurized Baron 58P were introduced. These variants were powered by turbocharged Continental TIO 520S of 325 HP, 240 kilowatts, had an increased 6,200 pound, about 2,800 kilograms, gross weight, and were certified under FAR 23 with a new type certificate. The Baron 58P/58TC models were capable of cruising at 200 knots, 370 km per hour, at 8,000 feet, 2,400 m, and 220 knots, 410 km per hour, at 2,000 foot, 6,100 m, and were typically equipped with 190 use gallon, 719L fuel tanks. In 1984, the instrument panel was redesigned to eliminate the large central control column and engineer controls mounted high on the instrument panel to clear it. In pre-1984 aircraft with the optional dual control EOX, the arm to the right-hand yoke partially blocks the radios and some cockpit switchgear. The redesign provides a more industry-standard control arrangement. Tom. T-42 Koshais by 1993. The arm is...
Yes, I'm sleepy and clicked by mistake. Then the auto reading stops, so just read from the top again.
1980 Baron 58 Par of Macau type designator of all versions is B58.7. In 1976, the turbocharged Baron 58TC and pressurized Baron 58P were introduced. These variants were powered by turbocharged Continental TIO 520S of 325 HP, 240 kilowatts, had an increased 620 pound, about 2,800 kilograms, gross weight, and were certified under FAR 23 with a new type certificate. The Baron 58P/58TC models were capable of cruising at 200 knots, 370 km per hour, at 8,000 feet, 2,400 m, and 220 knots, 410 km per hour, at 2,000 foot, 6,100 m, and were typically equipped with 190 use gallon, 719L fuel tanks. In 1984, the instrument panel was redesigned to eliminate the large central control column and engineer controls mounted high on the instrument panel to clear it. In pre-1984 aircraft with the optional dual control EOX, the arm to the right-hand yoke partially blocks the radios and some cockpit switchgear. The redesign provides a more industry-standard control arrangement and increases instrument panel space, but the aircraft lost the option of having a single yoke, which enhanced comfort for a passenger or relief pilot in the right-hand seat. 16. Although the turbocharged 58TC/58P variants were discontinued in 1984 and 1985, respectively, the normally aspirated Baron 58 was still in production as of 2021. The current production version is the G58 featuring a glass cockpit, improved passenger cabin and changes to selected airframe details. 17. 58 Baron original variant, introduced in 1969 and run through 2004. Production continued as G58. 4 to 6 seats. Powered by 2285 HP Continental IO 520C or Continental IO 550 piston engines. 15. 2124 aircraft build. 2. 58P Baron introduced 1976, run through 1985. Pressurized cabin, powered by two Continental TSIO 520L turbocharged piston engines. Priced at $200,750 in 1976. 18. 495 produced. 258 TC Baron introduced in 1976, run through 1984. Turbocharged engines, powered by 310 HP